What's going on, guys? Mecha Ish here from the Thundercats Classics line. I got Jackalman. Let's do it.
Level 138 in progress. Prepare for launch in 3, 2.
Step out of your world and step into mine.
Welcome back, guys, to another Thundercats Classic action figure review, and I got Jackalman. This time, one of the bad guys of the Thundercats, one of the minions of Mumra, and here he comes in that shipper box. But this time around, we have the Mumra logo at the front, got his name at the bottom, and a Thundercats logo right there. You got the full Thundercats logo on the top of the box. On this side, you have some nice looking artwork of Jackalman, and on the other, you have some artwork of Mumra's secret lair. Now, I'm gonna pull the real box outside of the shipper, and you can get a good look at Jackalman there in your standard Thundercats Classic window box packaging. And as we saw with the Lino packaging, you see Lino looking through the Sword of Omens, and you see the Eye of Thundera. And this is a very cool packaging design because this is all embossed, and the handles here are popping outward, and you have the rest of the blade going up towards that window portion of the package. So very cool design. On one side of this packaging, you do have a different kind of artwork for Jackalman, which looks pretty cool in the black and white. And on the other, you have just the nice glossy Thundercats logo and his name Jackalman right there at the bottom. At the back, you have the same images that we saw in the shipper box, but this time it is fully colored and it looks amazing. Take a look at that. You got the Mumra logo again and a big bio for Jackalman. And then you have more of the logo, and it says MattyCollector.com. Now this is going to change soon because Super 7 is taking over for Mattel. So we'll see what happens with the Thundercats lineup. All right, let's take Jackalman outside of this box and let's see what he's all about. All right, here is Jackalman outside of his packaging, and he stands at 7 inches in height. And again, these figures are in the 7-inch scale like the Masters of the Universe Classics. You're going to see a lot of reused parts from the Motu Classics bucks, but they did a lot of great things here to give Jackalman that kind of height and width, that lanky look to him, which looks so awesome. Of course, he has these 2 weapons here. He has that big axe, and of course, he has that club with him and 2 interchangeable hands. Now, when taking a closer look at Jackalman, you can see all of the tremendous sculpted detail added in here from the 4 horsemen. Great job with the cat-like face of his. I love the way they've done the fur across the sides here. You got his little fangs. You get some nice separation in color between the orange portions of his fur, and then you have the lighter brown areas. Great job with his eyes. I mean, take a look at that. I mean, because of the bulk of his neck piece, he's kind of always in an upward looking position, but when looking down, take a good look at those eyes. They did an amazing job here. I think a lot better than what they did with Lino, and they had a nice clean black outline around the eyes, those big brown eyes of his, and you see that black pinpoint pupil right there, dead center. Looks amazing. You got more great sculpted detail of the nose, of his mouth, going up those awesome looking eyebrows, nicely sculpted ears, and I got a little bit of the yellow that's inside of his ears coming up on top of the point there, but it's not too bad. It looks very cool. I mean, a great representation of Jackalman from the animated series. More sculpted detail down here in the back. I love that shoulder with the gray plastic, and then you have darker gray painted on the outlines and on those big nail portions. I love the brown strap, even the black one, and how leathery it looks. It looks very realistic with all of those etched in lines and the nice brown paint cleanly applied. Same deal with the black strap, nicely painted. You have a nice deep red circle right at the center of his chest, and you have the gray outline, and you have more of that awesome strap piece. You can see he has some nicely sculpted fur going down his neck that is alternating between that darker orange and the lighter brown or yellow color. And then we go on down to this nice furry area of his right shoulder, which, as you can see, is a separate piece, and it should not limit range of motion. But this whole entire neck, shoulder piece, even the straps are connected, so I'm going to show you guys how it looks with it all. Now, if you're familiar with the Masters of the Universe Classics figures, they do this a lot. They get your standard buck, and sometimes they'll add some alternate pieces just to give it a different likeness than the other figures. So here we're going to remove the head. It pops right off. You can see the ball joint right there, and this should be able to slide right on off. So once you get it up, slide it right off the arm. You are going to get a lot better range of motion here with Jackalman's head and neck without that neck piece, but it won't look as impressive. Now, going down the rest of the body, you can see some more of that lighter brown, lighter yellow color transitioning nicely with the darker orange of his buck, and a lot of sculpted pieces to give off the impression that this is a cat-like creature. So great job with the sculpt, and we've seen this similar style of sculpt with Masters of the Universe Classics figures, but I love the way they've done it here with Jackalman. You can see some more of the lines etched in towards the back, which blends in very well with all the thick, protruding fur from his neck and his shoulder pieces. You got some more of the same sculpted detail going down his arms, and you can see the big gigantic biceps and triceps of these figures, which looks amazing. Now, they have this awesome new sculpted piece here, which looks fantastic, almost like a leopard. Again, this is a cat-like creature. You got the nice paint applications of that bright yellow, and then you have those faded black patches going throughout, which looks pretty cool. Nicely sculpted and painted brown straps across his forearms, and then you have his hands again, which are interchangeable, and I'm gonna show you that in a little bit. Now going down his right arm, you can see some more great musculature going down to this wrist armor, which is all done in that gray. Again, you have some nicely sculpted detailing, giving it a more realistic armored look. Now on the inner part of his form, I got a little bit of a sloppy paint job there, with some of the gray from his wrist armor has creeped up to his forearm, but it's not too much of a big deal because again, it is on the inside of his arm. And as you get to the hands, you can see the nice sculpted detail of his fingers and even his little claws there. Now just like he has on his torso, he has this black waistband, again with more etched in details going all the way around to give it that realistic look. And then he has this loincloth that is done in kind of a jungle green, nice sculpted detail. I mean, not really much else going on with it. At least the paint applications are nicely separated between that darker green and the black here, and none of it gets onto his thighs. Now looking at his legs, very muscular. Now all of that sculpted fur and musculature lead all the way to these armored portions on the lower part of his legs. Nice sculpted detail here with more of the etching across the shins here and the calves. And then you have the brown paint, which is for the most part nicely done. Unfortunately, some of the gray from the outlines here have creeped on over, so a little bit of a sloppy job with the paintwork down there, and it goes for both sides. Now we get to Jackalman's feet. Great job by the horseman. You see the fur at the top of the foot, and you have those long, creepy looking black claws coming right out of his toes, which are spread wide open, and he is ready to pounce. Even at the bottom, you can see the peg holes to help you stand if you need it, but also nice wrinkles at the bottom, so that's some great attention to detail. Now going back up to the hands, you see he does come with these weapons. He has this awesomely sculpted axe, and you can see right here the handle is all done in that brown. It's not completely straight, it is very jagged. Jackalman took this right out of the woods and sculpted it. Even the tip right here, which is so uneven, it's just such a great touch. Now we do have the axe, which is also kind of with a jagged blade there. You got some silver dry brushing at the tip, and the rest is all done in that gray with some nice sculpted detail all the way through. Now his hands are sculpted in an open grip, so you can slide that handle all the way on through, and then you can even put it in the other hand if you wanted to. But he also comes with this awesome club. Now this club is also another fantastic piece, nicely done with that brown. Again, looks like he got it right out of the woods, and I love that kind of copper look that's painted so cleanly. And then you have that black horn coming right out of the end of the club, and again, it is not even. It looks like it was man-made or cat-made. Now Jackalman does come with an alternate hand for each arm. Now the left hand here, you can see the sculpted detail is a lot wider in the grip, so you can still hold both weapons. I'm gonna pop this one out and slide this one back in. You see how easily that is. The fingers are very pliable. You can see how flexible that plastic is, and the club can easily fit in there. It's especially gonna be loose when trying to slide in the axe to this hand, so you have to really get the axe all the way down to the base so you can hold it properly. Now instead of giving us these similarly sculpted hands, I much rather they gave us an alternate weapon instead, or they would have sculpted different hands with a more claw-like appearance. Now as I mentioned before, because of that big neck piece there is very limited range of motion of his head looking down, even though there is a ball joint. Take a look at that, it's like non-existent, but he is able to look up just a little bit, and of course you do have the rotation all the way around. He can also tilt his head a little bit to the side as well. Now on his left shoulder, he does have that armored piece. It is a little bit of a softer plastic, so you can extend his arm up about that much, and you do get a little bit of rotation if you kind of force it all the way around. It's not really going to mess up the plastic, but obviously the range of motion is going to be limited. Now on his right shoulder, this is much more flexible, and you can extend his arm a little bit higher up, and of course the same thing with the range of motion. It's going to be somewhat limited, but not too bad over there. Of course there's a bicep swivel here, and then you have a single jointed elbow, and the nice thing about the forearm guard being off to the side is that it does not hinder any of the range of motion, so you still get that 90-degree angle, and he can extend his arm. Of course we do have a nice rotation at the wrist, and you can see that nice hinge joint that allows for great flexibility going downward and upward. That is somewhat limited because of the forearm guard, but it's not too bad. Now there is an ab crunch, so you can get forward flexion a good amount, and also arches back a decent way as well. There is a rotation at the waist, and with his hip joint, it allows for great extension sideways. Take a look at how flexible this cat is, and then we can rotate his thighs as well. He can kick up to the front, and he also has some extension going backwards. I mean, great range of motion there. We have a single jointed knee. We do have a boot cut articulation at that lowered armored piece, and we have a nice hinge at his ankle, which allows for upward flexion that much, and downward as well, somewhat limited because of the armored piece. And of course we have this beautiful ankle rocker that should be able to get him in a bunch of amazing poses. So here is Lionel and Jackalman from the Club Third Earth subscription, and of course we also have Wily Kit and Wily Cat, so the line is growing. Hopefully Super 7 makes us all happy and completes these teams. So there you have it, guys, my video review of the Thundercats classic Jackalman. So excited to see what the future holds for this line. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a thumbs up and check out my channel for other reviews I've done, and I have so many cool things coming your way, so make sure you all like, subscribe, subscribe, comment, and share. You know what to do. Peace.